time for today's Arts and Culture feature. An exhibition on now at Medicine Hat's Esplanade Arts and Heritage Centre explores how modern technology and the internet affects society. The Mirror, the Echo, the Panopticon features work by 7 Canadian visual artists who attempt to answer such questions as how has the internet changed our perception of the world, and how can we tell what is real and what is not. Laura Anzola and Matthew Waddel are 2 Calgary-based artists participating in the exhibition. Laura is an animator and digital artist, and Matthew is also a digital artist, specializing in projection mapping and interactive installations and audiovisual design. They join me now to talk about their work and the exhibition. Hi, Laura. Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm glad you could join me today on Traffic Jams. Well, first off, there are some big philosophical questions posed in this exhibition, including how people perceive reality in the age of the internet. How challenging was this exhibition for you, or are these questions that you've already asked yourselves?
Yeah, I think we've been asking ourselves as digital artists and people living in a digital age, we've been trying to engage with these questions of how technology impacts us and how it relates to our art and how art can respond to that. We've been doing that for almost 2 decades now. And so this is kind of our bread and butter.
Can you describe your pieces in the exhibition?
Great. Yeah. Our piece is called Glove, spelled GLUV. It's an interactive video installation and a speculative product. And it's presented in the style of a launch event for a new high-tech wearable device that is a glove. So people enter the space and they're presented with an interface with a handprint on it. When they place their hand on the interface, a video projection in front of them comes to life, and it displays this very quickly scrolling page of terms and conditions that they realize that by putting their hand on this interface, they are actually agreeing to. And then once the terms finish, we launch into this product launch that's kind of presented like a high-tech show launch, kind of like what you'd see Steve Jobs doing as he's on stage jumping around for the new iPhone or something. And it talks about this glove that promises to solve all your problems.
So what was the inspiration behind that idea?
This project was conceived during the global pandemic. So at that time, we were just consuming technology very quickly and switching to platforms, video conference, and things that will help us to connect without really noticing what these platforms were doing with our data. And we were very willingly to give that, sometimes even without knowing, because most of these platforms are not very transparent on how they're using our data. So that was the core inspiration. And we decided making a glove because, again, the context of the pandemic. So this glove will help you to connect with others over distance, will help you have your hands always clean.
Right.
And we start progressively using more humoristic features to use just irony on the way sometimes these products are being sold to us.
Yeah.
I think one of the features was like, it can even tell if your partner is cheating on you. And it's incredible that some people actually thought this product exists in the world and want to buy it.
Wow. Can you tell me, in your opinion, how has the internet transformed the art world?
Ooh.
Drastically, and in good and bad ways. I mean, it's great that we can now share our work so quickly, and it's really horrible that we can now share our work so quickly, because everything just becomes this very quick flash as you scroll by it, and the meaning of a lot of things can be lost. And art is sometimes best appreciated with thought and reflection and with time. And I think the internet can provide that by exposing people to different types of art forms and allowing them to view them in their own space and their own time. But it can also, and particularly through platforms like Instagram, it can also promote this way of consuming art that is just another quick hit of dopamine that lasts for a second and then you move on.
Right.
And I think that's kind of a shame.
How did you meet and team up to create Access Z Media, the studio?
Well, we're partners in art and partners in life.
Mm-hmm.
We met at the Banff Center we were both on residencies 10 years ago, art residencies, and we met in the cafeteria, and we realized that we have a lot in common and a lot of complementary skills. And we started working together, doing design work for theater, a few projects, but then also quickly got into exploring projection mapping and interactive work. And we started Access Ed Media Arts in 2017, and we've been able to do, I think, around 20 projects in the last 5 years, mostly in the realm of projection and video, interactive video and digital art.
But we also have our own personal artistic practice separated, and now we're trying to also be a artistic duo, Anzola and Waddel. So there's like 4 projects that we have on the go right now.
We have a studio, we have our own individual practices, and we have our collective practice. And Glove is actually, we're trying to present it as our Anzola Waddel kind of project and not a studio project.
Right. How fun is that for you to work together on these projects?
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's lots of work. We are, it's mainly the 2 of us, but for example, for this project, we actually collaborated with other 12 artists that made this project possible.
We try to work with other people as well, and it can be challenging to live together and work together and be creative together and all those things that come with work relations and couple relations, but it's really rewarding.
Do you have to put egos aside a little bit, and if there's something that you really like but the other person doesn't like it, how do you deal with that?
It's mainly like our core values are very similar, and I think that's the important thing. It's sometimes more around the way we decide to do things, but we have figured out mainly like ways of working that out. Lots of discussions, lots of conversations, lots of compromising.
We used to just dive into projects, and now we've realized that a smarter thing to do is to really talk about them, maybe talk about them more than doing them, because just by working things out, we can save a lot of time.
Right, gotcha.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Well, lastly, with the onset of new digital tools such as the increased prevalence of AI, which is getting a lot of people are talking a lot about that. What do you think the future of art looks like?
People should be talking about AI, and I think we're not talking about it enough, and it will drastically change everything. It is a being that is coming to consume us in every way, and I don't mean to sound like too over the top or anything, but I think it's going to have a drastic impact. We've already seen it. Like the art that can be created using a few simple prompts is just visually stunning. I don't know what's going to happen to a generation that grows up knowing that is art, that was just created by a computer and a person that put in some words instead of somebody that spent a lot of time reflecting on it or learning a skill. So I'm kind of scared and worried about that. And that's just, art is just one thing, but the whole world is going to be drastically changed by this. So yeah, we're very aware of this and proceeding with caution.
Right now, I feel like we are at a point where automation of content is going to largely impact us. That includes art, but also like other fields, journalism, and, the way we consume content even. But one thing is produce content, and the other thing is like who is thinking about that content, and right now it's like a collaboration maybe with between the human and the machine, but will the machine ever be able to produce concepts that then create art? Because for me, it's not just about making images or installations or things. It's also what are the questions that are behind that? That's kind of the core for me, at least, on what art is. So that will be the more interesting questions. Will this AI ever be able to generate these questions and then be more, I guess, intelligent? Which is still a term that is very loaded in the way that it's being described. Because right now it's just analyzing tons and tons of data to produce these things. But it's about finding that balance. And I think like the first question you pose about the internet and what has done the internet to us is, like I said, like new technology can be very beneficial, but it can also be very detrimental for humanity. And we just need to find the balance, because the benefits of this can be like very much positive for humanity, and at the same time could also be very drastically bad.
Mm-hmm. Those are some great points. Well, thank you again for joining us and telling us about your projects and your general artwork.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Calgary-based artists Laura Anzola and Matthew Waddel. They are among the featured artists in the exhibition The Mirror, The Echo, The Panopticon, on now at the Esplanade Arts and Heritage Centre in Medicine Hat. The exhibition runs until August 26th. For more information, go to esplanade.ca.